Hello. I've had a rather rough day. I've been thinking about making this video again. Yes, again. I made a different version prior and I deleted it because I had some issues of my own. Mostly 'cause I got out of hand, like I usually do. I'm trying to be as calm as I possibly can. I'm just, I'm saddened. So I am going to allow a blast from the past say some of the words that I remember and remind you that this was one of the creators of Marvel, and what you're doing is a complete opposite of what he envisioned for Marvel and all those that worked with him.
But the one thing that will never change is the way we tell our stories of heroism.
Heroism goes for both male and female.
Those stories have room for everyone,
For everyone.
regardless of their race, gender, religion, or color of their skin.
Now you guys want to add more to that list? That's pretty downright selfish. Everybody is, yes, individual, and yes, unique. But we don't need the extra nonsense added in there. There are only two genders, male and female, for humankind. Yeah, I'm not too pleased what you guys are thinking about some of the words that are have been set in stone for a very, very long time. Hundreds of years. Mankind, not people kind. Grow up. Right now. Just grow up. Grow some freaking skin.
The only things we don't have room for are hatred, intolerance, and bigotry.
Right there. That's what you're pushing. X-Men may be outdated. X-Men is outdated. X-Men outdated. X-Men outdated.
And by the way, the women are always saving the men around here. You might want to think about changing the name to X-Women.
X-Men have always been both male and female. Not just men. That'd be very rude. Grow up. Just grow up. I am very childish for my hobbies that I like in my life, especially the comic book industry, the gaming industry, the figure industry, which is dying because of you. Because you don't buy these things. You don't buy comic books. You work in an industry that you call the title of X-Men antiquated. You're just a neo-feminist. And I'm tired of people like you telling me that I'm a man baby whining because of the fact that I'm not getting my way. I'm not saying that. I'm saying your divisiveness doesn't belong. Because it will not sell in a long run. You continue pushing this type of mentality, people will walk away via the droves. There will not be a field of dreams for you. There will be a empty ball field with a whole bunch of shit in it. Captain Marvel is a perfect example. Nobody wants to buy it. I grew up on Marvel comic books of all of the areas, from the Avengers to the X-Men to the Spider-Man franchise. Those were the three tops titles that I read before they started going a little repetitive, and then having the Clone franchise, which was back in the early uh, 90s, late 80s, I believe. I could be wrong. If you feel like being cool about it, please add the information on the message board. I'd love it. I don't get, why are you making it such a big deal about this shit? It's just, it's petty. Very, very petty. I know I feel petty because of the fact that I'm whining about this or talking about it. It's just, I don't feel that it belongs in entertainment. And there are very few people who are wanting to say anything about it. And it hurts my feelings to see that we are so selfish now that we can't be selfless, to share what we've got, to share our ideas and our creative inspirations. And I've noticed that there are a handful of free thinkers out there that are creating their own stuff because of the fact that they're sick and tired of the politics that are being shoved down their throats. It's the reason why I stopped watching TV in general, because that's all I saw. So I just paid for internet because that's where all my entertainment was. Anime, comic books, all of the stuffed games, all of those things, action figures. It's all on the internet. But then all of a sudden, I'm being inundated with politics in my shows again now. And I'm like, what? And then they're virtual signaling. This, I don't, you will not make a cash cow on politics. It's been it's been proven time and time again. Politics does not sell because of the fact that it's ugly. Being an individual and creative is not. If you're gay, if you're in between, I don't care what you are. If you want to create a character that's based off of you, please, by all means. But stop changing existing characters to fit your narratives. And it's like everywhere I look, everything is changing worse than better. And I don't mind. I love change. When I found out, when I read the ultimate timeline for the the entire Marvel universe, I loved it. We had still a badass Nick Fury who had a secretive past, had his eye gouged out by Wolverine. No, the cinematic universe had to cheapen it by having his eye cut out by an alien cat. I love cats. That's a disrespect to cats. If you had him lose his eye to Wolverine, then I wouldn't be so fuzzled about Captain Marvel. But no. And then Captain Marvel throughout the entire film, I'm like, oh my god, sexism, sexism. And then that cutscene, even more. You want women in there? Fine, you can have the women. If you want to kick the men out, guess what? This is my last straw. As of this moment, I am boycotting anything that is owned by Disney. If they own everything within the next 20 years, I will officially stop everything. I am done. The monopoly that has happened and the greed behind it is saddening. They went from being a beautiful, creative, thinking group of people who loved to create and think to a bunch of people who are gotten so bleeding lazy and political that they don't care about the story anymore. And that means they don't care about the fans. And that's me. I am a customer, and this customer is walking away. I am going to spend my money on international things. As of this moment, and of this year, it looks like everything it's made US wide is not worth my time or my money. But I will keep calling it out when I see this nonsense that does not belong. You can call me a misogynist, you can call me a sexist, you can call me a troll, you can call me whatever. I've been called everything under the book when I was a kid. Nerd, four eyes, bucktooth, dipshit, you name it, I've been called it. I was bullied bad when I was a kid. By all means, continue. Even as an adult, I'm fine with it because the fact that it just feels like I've got it coming at me all over again. So go on. Just prove the old people are right. I know a lot of people are thinking, what are you talking about? I used to hang out with my grandma all the time. And it was she who suggested I read the Pulp Fiction books. And I read them. And in them, there was a series of Batman stories. They were the prequels before the old TV show and whatnot, where Batman actually beat the living hell out of the villains. He bring them to the point where they're near death. He would never break that boundary line where he'd actually kill them. This current era wants to make every male the bad guy. Well, this male is walking away from your feminism. You want to make it X people or X women? By all means. But but I'm just done. If you give a if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. You can never make them happy enough. I am done. If you want your own characters based on whatever, gay, black, whatever, make them yourself. Make a good story. Stop changing old stuff to fit your narratives. I always thought that comic books would be around forever for my great grandkids and their grandkids. I don't think it's going to exist. I think it's going to die of the way of the dodo because of the fact that people wanted to push their divisiveness into it. And that saddens me on every level. So I am thinking of joining that band of crazy nutcases of making their own stuff. I am going to continue making my rant videos. I'm going to continue making my gaming videos as long as it stays legal. YouTube seems to be turning from being the creative thinker's den to the anal retentive den. So when that dies, I'll have even more proof that we no longer live in a free society. It is for the rich and powerful, or those who think that they are being marginalized or victimized. Well, you could take your victimization and shove it up your ass and go right on down the damn road. I have lived a rather humble fucking life, and I'm not gonna complain about my fucking life and how miserable it was. But I went through the bumps and punches. And you need to do the same fucking thing. So suck it up, Nancy. Or Nancier. Or Nancy Man. I'm sick and tired of this shit. Grow the fuck up. With great respect to the fans, I'm sorry for my attitude, for all of my videos that I've ever made in the past. And I beg that you understand that I am not trying to be mean. I don't feel that this is right. With great power comes great responsibility. And this great power that you people have to change the stories to whatever you feel like is killing the franchises. They tried doing this back in the 90s, people. Look it up. And it failed. This needs to stop. Because the industries are going to go broke. And these virtual signalings, stop, please. And if you want something with those characters around, make them yourself. I repeat this over and over and over, and I will continue repeating it. If you want something that's based off of who you are as an individual, make the story. I did, but I never got the guts to publish it. And I never will. Because the fact that it's my story. And that I praise those who actually want to try to dip their toe into that cesspool of I've got the better story attitude. Stop that. That right there is what kills creative minds. Political, religion, racism, diversity, representation, identity, check my privilege, cogs in a machine, drone mentality, mankind is now racist, peace sign is now racist, the OK sign is now racist. I am living in a Mad Magazine story in real life. At least that's the way I feel right now. And those who know what I'm talking about are gonna love the title. Because that's the way I feel it. Right now, this world has gone mad. And nobody cares. They're just following the drone mentality. Or like one of the other videos I saw a while ago, the fish mentality, because whenever they see a predator, they all flock to another direction. So, as of this moment, I boycott any company, Disney, Fox, or otherwise, that enforces the discretion of story or character. Or cripe, even the actors. I feel sorry for them. This is saddening on every front for me. I salute the entire hobby industry to try to survive this disaster. I bid all those of free thinking a very good day. And those of you who don't give a rat's fart what you do to hobbyisms and whatnot, take a good look at history and you will see where people like you wind up at. And it won't be on top.